When you go online and search for the best method to prepare tofu, you get like a gazillion suggestions. Boil it, freeze it, marinate it, put it in cornstarch, bake it, air fry it, pan fry it, whatever. Even I find that overwhelming sometimes, and I'm a certified tofu expert, I would say. So today we'll answer the question, what's the best method to prepare tofu? We'll start with a method I usually never do because I'm too lazy. The frozen method. So it's very easy. Basically, you just put your tofu in the freezer instead of the fridge overnight until it's as hard as a rock. And then we'll let it thaw. There's a method to speed up the thawing process because I don't want to wait forever. I read online that you can bring some water to a boil and then it will defrost much faster, which makes sense. So I will try that. Oh, it's cold. It's like a ice block from tofu. And so here's why this method should work. So when we freeze the tofu, the water inside the tofu expands, so it's making like pew. And then when we defrost it, it's draining again. That means it's leaving big holes inside the tofu, which can carry more flavor, and also it should create a meatier texture inside the tofu and a crispy exterior. So we will see. It's definitely very cold. So here's our frozen, unfrozen tofu now. It's a bit warm. And now, because we want to get out more of that water, I will kind of press it for about 30 minutes. So I will take a kitchen towel, put it on top, and then we need something heavy. I'm just gonna use a couple cookbooks. Wow, there's already a lot of water out of the tofu. Didn't expect that. And then we wait again. Now I know why I never do this method. It takes too long, but maybe it's worth it. Okay, wow. It's been like 20 minutes now. And that's what's left from our tofu. Okay. It definitely lost some water, but also this towel is super wet now. So for you to reference, I've got the same brand of tofu, the same kind, it's exactly the same tofu, but one time it's like fresh from the package and one time it's frozen, defrosted and pressed for 20 minutes. And the difference is astronomical. Honestly, I'm flabbergasted. That is crazy, I didn't expect that. So I'm really excited to see what the tofu looks like from the inside. So let's cut it open. No, let's cut it in sticks actually. So you can definitely see that the texture has changed, especially on the outside. There's more holes, it's a bit spongier, and it feels very firm. Part of my mission is finding out which method holds the flavor better. So I'm gonna prepare a quick marinade for a couple of those sticks. Just some soy sauce, vinegar, and agave. I'll put 2 sticks in there, and then put aside while testing the other methods. Number 2. Recently I've been seeing more and more people boiling their tofu in salted water. Many people claim that this will improve texture and overall taste, and I've never tried that before, so today is the day. Second method, boiling tofu in salted water. I've got the same tofu as before, so we'll get it out of the package. This time it's not frozen. So I will cut it into sticks again. I could eat it just like that. You don't know how much I love tofu. It's actually a weird obsession. This is what our unfrozen, unboiled tofu looks like. Very average. So now we need some water with salt. I don't know how much salt to use, so I'm gonna salt it like pasta water. I think the more the better. Well, it's definitely boiling, so we'll put the tofu sticks in here. They should simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes, and while they are boiling, I'm gonna explain to you the science behind this method. Why does it work? The keyword here is osmosis. That puts me back to biology class in 10th grade. It means that the salty water outside of the tofu is causing the water inside of the tofu to move out, which firms up the tofu, and simultaneously the heat opens up the proteins inside of the tofu. So all that should result in a chewier, meatier texture, and also the tofu should be able to absorb flavors more easily. Time to get the tofu out of the water. I don't know if you can see it, but it's more jiggly. I think this kitchen has never smelled so much like tofu. Tofu-licious. I'll briefly pat dry it. And this is the tofu texture now. It's like very, very jiggly, almost like pudding. So, how do we continue now? I will do the same as before. I will save a few sticks to put them in a simple marinade made from soy sauce, vinegar, and agave. And then we'll separately bake some, fry some, and air fry some to have like the full spectrum of preparation methods. The interesting thing is now after a couple of minutes, it really feels drier on the outside. When you touch it, your fingers don't get wet. It's really, really interesting. Very promising, I would say. 1, 2, and 3. And I'll put that aside again while testing the last method. Method number 3. This is as easy as it can get because we'll do nothing to the tofu except dredging it with cornstarch. And to be honest, that's what I usually do. But maybe today's video will change my way to prepare tofu. And I will pat dry it briefly, but I think that's like common sense that you should do that. The tofu feels just like tofu. Let's see if this method is as promising as the others. So you can see it does have quite a lot of water. So we cut it in sticks again. 2 fat sticks go in there. And then we get to the exciting part. Wait, I actually forgot to dust the tofu with cornstarch. And for the marinated tofu, I will dust it with cornstarch afterwards. I think that makes more sense. So for this, we'll add some cornstarch. My rule of thumb is 1 tablespoon cornstarch per 200 grams of tofu. So this is approximately 1.5. Some salt. Toss it around. Just that it has a nice little layer of cornstarch on the outside. And now we get to the exciting part. Okay, all those different tofus look very, very different. We've got the frozen tofu versus the boiled tofu, which looks completely different in the air fryer, in the pan, and the oven. It's super interesting. And also we've got our marinated tofus, where the question is which tofu absorbed most flavor. So what I'm gonna do now is, because who am I to judge, I'm gonna take them with me home to try all of them with my family. I'm excited to see what my family says. Intense testing with my family, it's time for a final tofu review. So here is my ranking. Number 3. The boiled tofu. It was an extra working step and didn't really taste any difference between boiled tofu and regular tofu. Also, it didn't soak up the marinade so well. It was the worst marinade absorber, actually. So that's why boiled tofu is for me on the last place, and I probably will do that again. On the second place, the regular tofu, just dusted in cornstarch. It's the way I usually do it, and it's pretty good. It can absorb the marinade quite well. The texture is quite nice if you like tofu. Also, it gets kind of crispy on the outside when frying in a pan. The texture kind of changes in the oven, in the air fryer, whereas the boiled tofu kind of slopped out and was a bit squishy for some reason. Still my go-to probably, and the second place. And on the first place, we've got the overall winner, frozen tofu. I was actually quite surprised by how much the texture actually changed. It was really meaty and firm, and it soaked up the marinade amazing. So the marinated frozen tofu was by far our top favorite. It was up there. Really, really good. And it was actually not so much work to do, so you can just put it in the freezer overnight, and the defrosting process was very easy. I just pressed it for like 20 minutes and it lost so much water. It's perfect to absorb any kind of marinade, so it's definitely my clear winner. It was amazing in the air fryer, but also in the oven and in the pan. So that's what I would recommend you to try. If you're new to the tofu game and want to try something that's really good, then freeze your tofu, let it defrost, press, and marinate. It's a couple of steps, but definitely worth it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, hit the like, subscribe for more, and tell me which version of tofu you prefer. I'm excited to hear, and I would say, see you soon!